So this is politics as usual. At the moment, Texas has this weird, crazy situation with their local power company is privately owned, and they pretty much, made themselves their own Texas power company. They're not connected to the rest of the country. I guess right now they're trying to do that right now because what else they're gonna do?
Yeah, the weather as unusual is revealing politics as usual.
Yeah, and I want to show an example. Like, I'm a local New Yorker, and I grew up, with my grandmother for a little bit. They had a house out in Far Rockaway. In Far Rockaway, we kind of got our power from this power company called Long Island Lighting Company. It has a cute name, but actually it was privately owned, and it was known to have like the most craziest rates, craziest power rates, and it was a shitty company. They even tried to like build a nuclear plant in Long Island. Imagine like what happened in Texas, and they decide, you know what, we're gonna build a nuclear power plant. Like, no, you're not gonna do that. You can't even give us normal power with gas. We don't trust your nuclear power plant. So that's pretty much what happened in the 80s and 90s, and Cuomo's dad got into it. I mean, it was a crazy situation that happened in New York City. Imagine if we had a private company when Sandy happened. What kind of disaster that would have been? If we had a private company in the blackout in 2003. What a disaster that would have been. And luckily that got fixed. And I want to show this example of it. So what happened, this happened pretty much way back in the day. This is like 1998, yo. So the Rhode Island Lighting Company was pretty much a private company, and it took another company to pretty much a state-run agency to break it up, and it had break-up assets. Even though they were charging people crazy rates, they still had debt. So that shows you a lot about private running a private company to the ground. So pretty much it was like a crazy antitrust law situation, and Cuomo got involved, Mario Cuomo. So I want to show the next clip, which pretty much shows you what was happening in the backdrop of this. This company that fell during Hurricane Gloria, which was a major hurricane that happened in 1985 in New York City. I know people probably. This is way back in the day. This is the year before I was born, so I don't know what happened. But pretty much what happened on Long Island, almost 300,000 people lost power in Long Island. And people didn't have power for almost about a month, tops. And it was to blame for Long Island Power Company. They had the same issues. They could have weatherized things a long time ago, and they refused to do that for hurricanes. And they didn't do that. So, and that's how they lost power. So the same company that couldn't handle a hurricane, they wanted to, build a nuclear power plant. So I wanted to show this quick intro to this documentary so people can get more into the history of like the struggle of electric private utility companies. It's kind of the bedrock of the United States. If people know New York City pretty well, in Brooklyn, Flatbush was a private toll road in the late 1800s. If you wanted to drive by John Flatbush, you had to pay a toll. And that's because around that area where Prospect Park is and all that area downtown, it used to be a swamp shithole, and they had to put like plank wood along the road. So a guy, instead of making it a public, thing for everyone, he did it. He built the Flatbush Road. He put the planks down. And you had to pay a toll to go do that Flatbush area.
So you're saying he's a troll?
Yeah, literally American. That was like what happened. Like he made his own road, and he became like a troll. They actually still have that booth in Prospect Park. You can go and see it. They kind of have it in the bushes somewhere, as like kind of a relic of the past.
Yeah, I'm not going over there.
So it's not new in history of like having privately run fire departments, privately run roads, privately run police, and a private electric company. And Long Island Electric Company was an example of that. And I want to show this clip right here. This private company wanted to build a nuclear power plant.
Their goal was to get this plant operational so that they could begin recouping the cost.
The multi-million-dollar mistake called Shoreham.
The clock is running out on our ability to prevent Shoreham from firing up on Long Island.
Between 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl, you started having these large demonstrations.
How can you evacuate Long Island? I mean, you can't get off of Long Island on a normal day, let alone
Jump in the ocean.
A nuclear emergency.
How about the people on the East End? What are we going to tell them? Swim for it?
The opponents were very successful in claiming that
I love this
we'd have to
documentary. It's
evacuate
full of
all
people with
Long
New York
Island
accents.
and use that as ammunition.
Hurricane Gloria in 1985. I think that was the turning point for sure.
And a lot of people started saying, holy mackerel, we're going to trust them to run a nuclear power plant?
LILCO accepted the deal in the hopes of ending what has become an almost paralyzing Shoreham controversy.
It represents the power of the public's voice.
In the end, the politicians bought that.
So I'm not going to play the whole thing. So that's his example of like this power company. It was a total disaster. It failed during the disaster, Hurricane Gloria. And then the next thing you want to do is build a nuclear power plant to recover, like to have a public facing. I don't know what was going on with that, but it was more about absorbing debt and trying to make money. It was less about helping people building that nuclear power plant, as they come to find out when you watch the documentary. So I just want to give context what's going on in Texas. Like, you know, it's not new in history of like greedy ass people controlling electricity. So it's not new. So in the United States or anywhere that long as electricity's been around that. But the United States seems to be a prime place where people like to fuck with your lights. So that's politics as usual. Just want to show a little quick, short little segment about that. So you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube on act.tv. We're all over there. And Dr. Genius, he's on Facebook, YouTube, and act.tv. All around. James is on it. Juliana is on there. Solidarity Works is up on there. So follow us.